Hello. Several months ago, I came across an old music manuscript book, and I popped it open to see what was inside. One of the items was a transcription of a tune called Foreign Correspondent by the group Yellow Jackets. I looked at this and I thought, why on earth did I transcribe this? I transcribed this for Troy Anderson's senior recital. Troy and I had met in the fall of 1985 at North Central Bible College in Minneapolis. He went on to graduate from that school. I went on to be music faculty at that school. And so even though I was technically his music professor for part of that time, we were dear pals. He was a musical peer of mine. We made a ton of music together. I stood up for Troy at his wedding. Troy stood up for me at my wedding. And here's a picture of Troy and me standing up with the always inappropriate Benny Hill. Also in this photo is Dan Needham thinking he can get in just one more blink before that picture is taken. This photograph was taken at Madame Tussauds House of Wax in London. Just one of the great experiences I had with Troy. He was a very important person in my life. But on May 7th, 2008, we lost Troy. He died from complications stemming from his battle with leukemia. And as I looked at this piece of music and I remembered the great friend that Troy was and the tremendous musician that he was, I thought we should revisit this tune for Troy Anderson. So without further ado, we present Foreign Correspondent for Troy Anderson.
Hey, this is Evan Nehring with some thoughts about my college roomie, Troy. I remember going down after one accord tour and needing to set up for the following year at North Central and get established in the dorms. Everyone else had roomies planned, and Troy and I were just there without. And they said, well, hey, what about you guys? And we said, all right, that sounds fine. And it was just one of the best days of my life, because I think back now to what an amazing, kind, selfless roommate that Troy was. And we just had so much fun.
We were in lots of bands together and on the road, and lived on the same floor in Carlson Hall, fourth floor.
Fourth floor.
Carlson Hall.
Across the hall from each other.
I just remember Troy as probably the hardest working guy of the bunch. A diligent student, practiced way more than anybody else, that's for sure. Faithful friend, and just a whole lot of fun to be on the road with.
Oh, he was.
Basketball, playing hoops down at the gym at North Central. Troy was always game. And those Nebraska camp guys, I remember playing when we were at Nebraska, and how they loved to run and gun and just grab that thing and dish and go. No one was better at dishing than Troy, just always so selfless to make everything happen. All the jazz, the Rippingtons, the Yellow Jackets, and listening to jazz on the radio and winning that Michelle Petrucciani cassette with the Play Me, that song. It was such a cool song that summer in Minneapolis. And I remember Troy's senior recital and getting to join those guys. And what an amazing night that we had down in the chapel at North Central. And for that night, we were the coolest cats in all of Minneapolis.
He also brought kind of a Nebraska common sense to everything he did.
You're right.
Including coming back, we all were part of U.S. Swim and Fitness one year.
I remember that.
Remember? Trying to get buff.
Right. That never worked for me.
It never worked for me. The opposite for me. But we would come home late at night from working out, and in Minneapolis, busy Minneapolis would not have many cars at midnight coming back from U.S. Swim and Fitness. And so for Troy, coming from small town Nebraska, stoplights were optional.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Just go ahead.
Yep.
It's midnight.
Yep. So, no cars are coming. Common sense Nebraska said, well, we don't need that stoplight. No, let's just head on home.
And I think it worked out for him. I don't remember any tickets or anything.
I don't either. I remember when he and Jerry started dating when we were on the trip to Germany. We had a couple hours off up in the mountains in southern Germany. We're coming down individual gondolas when we were watching Troy and Jerry in front of us as they were starting to date right before our eyes.
I don't think we need any more details.
That's more than enough.
You're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration. You bring feeling to my life. You're the inspiration. Wanna have you near me. I wanna have you hear me say it. No one needs you more than I. No one needs you more than I.
I do remember Troy didn't complain a lot, but I do remember him complaining that when we were on the road, especially with One Accord, that the girls always got the really sweet host homes, and we did not. Right, so the girls would come out of the bus,
Right.
when after being dropped off by their host homes, and then they would have these elaborate picnic baskets for their lunch. There'd be some great dessert in there. There might even be a 20 tucked in there.
Right.
And if we got a bologna sandwich, we'd be lucky.
Right.
They would have stories of an in-ground pool at their host home. We came back from a guy who, after we drug our mattress in from the garage, you remember this?
Grass clipping covered mattress.
After we drug our mattress in from the garage, he sat us down and for, an hour or so, tried to sell us A.L. Williams insurance.
He did. With a flip chart.
With a flip chart and everything. So Troy didn't complain much, but he would complain that we never got the plum host homes.
I was going through some of my old pictures. I found a shot of Troy and myself doing some music at the Munich airport before we left Europe. And this is a very typical thing that Troy and I would do, just throw down on a little jazz stuff. And we were in praise band together. He recorded some stuff with me on an album that's called San Francisco Fire. You can find it on Spotify and iTunes, those other places. He did a lot of really great work on a song called The Party's Over, if you want to listen to some really good jazz saxophone. And my favorite memories of Troy is that he had that unassuming way about him, but he was so monstrously talented, soft-spoken, and yet he could just make that saxophone scream. And I just wrote a song, and I thought, man, this song really fits for how I feel about Troy in a lot of ways. I'll sing the chorus. It's called One More Song for You. It sings like this. It goes, I'll always have time for one more song with you. All we have to do is fall in love again. I'll always make time to live my life with you. Sing along with me. Let's sing one more song for you. That's I'm sure how Troy and Jerry felt when they first fell in love, and just a friendship and doing a life of music together. Man, there's so much love and joy that gets shared. God bless you guys. Remembering Troy tonight, we love you, and I'm so thankful for his friendship. Take care, you guys.
As others here have already said, Troy had an amazing work ethic when it came to music. I remember an exchange he and I had once. I'm going to paraphrase my words, but I believe his words. I believe this is a verbatim quote. I said, Troy, what's the goal? You spend so much effort on music. What are you going for? What do you want to be? And he said, the best. And I said, the best? He said, yeah. The best? Yeah. Pretty well sums up Troy, a man of few words. But when he picked up his saxophone, he delivered. All the great players have swagger. Troy had swagger. He played with complete authority. And Troy, I just want to say, proper respect. On behalf of all your music pals, we look forward to the big reunion jam in the heavenlies. Jerry, thank you for getting behind this project. Thank you for all the photographs. I must tell you, hearing your voice coming through my telephone was a balm to my soul. God bless us, everyone.